Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to a subscriber update, a special channel update celebrating my passage of 200 subscriber level. Yay! Yeah, it's not, by any means a huge amount for a YouTube channel, but I am very happy with how I've been growing, and I look forward to welcoming more subscribers and more fans in the future. My next milestone is probably going to be around the 500 mark, so I'll let you know when I hit that, and I have no doubt that I will eventually hit that at some point. Just really appreciate every single individual who has watched any of my videos whatsoever. I know that not all of my content may appeal to everybody. I know that the majority of my content will probably not appeal to everybody because I am a more laid back and easygoing kind of narrator in a lot of these things, and I don't focus on comedy, so what wit I have is very dry in terms of my presentation. I do try to be informative, I do try to be entertaining, and I'll leave it at that. Let's see, I had been planning like a Q&A special for my 200 subscriber mark, but I got no questions. Not particularly surprised, though, because I've been upfront in terms of how I put my videos up and so on and so forth. So there's really not many questions to ask besides the technical behind the screen details of how I put videos up. My channel updates, I like to think, keep people pretty much appraised of my plans for the channel. Anytime there's a question on a particular game that I'm playing, I usually try to answer it immediately in the comments section. Regarding that, I kind of think I dodged a bullet on that one because as far as the technical aspects of my channel go, I'm probably not the best example of that because I know I do things incredibly inefficiently, and I probably need to streamline my process in order to put up videos in a more timely manner. Speaking of timely videos, I didn't get any up yesterday, and today's were late because, quite frankly, I was sick yesterday morning, and then when I finally got around to, sitting down and trying to getting things up, my internet went down, and it went down all the way until like 3 a.m. today. And at some point, I just said, I'm not going to be able to upload anything that I've got, and I'm not going to be able to, download and install what I was intending to put together for Indie Game Friday. So, fuck it. Now, I will try to get something up for Indie Game Friday tomorrow. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to. As I said, I can't pretty much focus on it to make it a super regular thing. I said until late February, early March. Right now, it's looking like February is going to be when it starts becoming like a real regular issue. Although I've been pretty regular with it so far. One thing I noticed is that of the games I was considering to do this Friday, there were 4 new dungeon crawlers. Some new, some old, but like recently ported to PC. All of them the kind of old school, step-by-step, like 90-degree grid-based dungeon crawlers. And all done in kind of a modern style, kind of like what Legend of Grimrock did. So 4 dungeon crawlers, and February has 4 weeks. So what I'm thinking about is just holding off on doing those until February and just doing February as like a month of dungeon crawlers. So, that sounds like a good idea. So expect 4 dungeon crawlers in February. That leaves a couple of games. I do have one in the queue that I want to do for an Indie Game Friday or some sort of review. It's not strictly speaking an RPG game, but it does have RPG elements. And it was given to me, a review code given to me by Blackshell Media. Now, you may have noticed I've done a couple Blackshell Media games on my Indie Game Friday thing, and they've been very generous with the review codes. I appreciate it. Blackshell Media is... It's kind of like it's a publisher, so strictly speaking... the games that were not developed by Blackshell Media or whatever are technically not independent, although I guess they still qualify as indie, and that's a conversation we need to have in a moment. But what they've been doing is they've been expanding and getting more games under their wings lately. And there have been a couple like that, Head Up Games, although that's been around a little bit longer, I think. And basically what they do is similar to what Electronic Arts did when they were first starting. That is, they pick small independent developers, and they just basically lend them their expertise on how to get the game onto Steam and to get the game recognized. And they aren't huge, but they've been growing pretty rapidly. So, I appreciate the review codes, and I intend to continue reviewing their stuff, amongst other things. I've been trying to be very fair with my reviews. I wish I could give I'm so grateful for review codes now that I wish all of them were winners, but let's face it, like even Blackshell Media has only got like a 50-50 hit-miss rate with their games, which, considering the kind of risks they're taking, is actually really good. I don't know how it plays out financially, but considering some of the independent aggregation publishers that I've seen, they're pretty quality. Blackshell Media is, but basically that brings us around to what is an indie game, and it's a question I need to answer pretty quickly, because going forward with the Indie Game Friday and with other things I would like to try to do, what is an indie game? Because strictly speaking, an independent game is an independent game is a game that's developed independently by a single team with their own backing and then published by that team. And the problem with that is that the lines are kind of blurred now. Clearly a game that's published by Electronic Arts or Ubisoft or Activision, they're not going to be considered independent games because they've got a big publisher behind them. But the real question is, what about these middle range things? You got people like Head Up Games, like Blackshell Media, like Paradox Interactive. Paradox Interactive published Knights of Pen and Paper, which I covered in my last Indie Game Friday series. Knights of Pen and Paper was developed by a small team. It has an indie feel to it, and yet it was put out by a company that, while it may not share the ranks of like Blizzard, is still a fairly big and upcoming company. So at what point do I draw the line and say, okay, this game is no longer indie? I'll have to take a look at these upcoming games, because it's becoming a real question, and I have no idea how to answer it. If you've got any I'm honestly speaking, the worst that can happen is I put up a game as an indie game, and then somebody comes screaming, "That's not an indie game, they've got a bunch of backing." And quite frankly, I probably wouldn't care that much, but I'm trying to stick to the spirit of Indie Game Friday and give these games that haven't got a huge amount of attention their their nice review, or not necessarily a good review, but a clear review so people know what they're getting into when they purchase the game. And I'm gonna have to balance my priorities a little bit, Just things move so quickly now that an independent game can very, very quickly find itself no longer independent. If they got a game that's really taking off, some big company may throw a bunch of money at them real quick. And a lot of times it's very difficult to, sometimes it's difficult to catch them in that nascent stage where they're still an indie game. But if you got any thoughts on the matter, leave me comments below. I've hijacked this 200 subscribers, special long enough. Once again, I thank every single one of you for every single subscription and every single view. Let's look forward to further growth in the coming year. And for now, this has been the RPG Crawler. If you like what you've seen, remember to like, share on any of my videos. I appreciate seeing those shares roll in. And subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.